Hey guys, a month or so ago, I put out a video on this CVLIFE scope here. It's kind of the one that combined like a red dot and a scope together. I really liked it. Really, my only complaint with it was that little lever right there to change like the magnification came loose a couple different times during my range time with it. But anyways, the folks at CVLIFE actually watched the video, reached out to me and said, "Hey, we have another scope that also has the cantilever mount, but instead of having the red dot reticle, it just has an illuminated reticle, and it's cheaper than that other version." And they said that they thought you guys might be interested in this one because it is cheaper than the other one. But this is the box that comes in. Again, very plain looking box. CVLIFE 1 to 6 by 24. I think that probably with the scope mount, but so I figured anyways we'd cut into it, see what it looks like, check out the quality control of it, go over some of the features and specifications. We'll get it mounted to something and get out to the range. I figured this would just slide down. There we go. All right, so that is how it's packaged, and there's some foam on each end. And what do we have down in here? So we have some hardware and some, looks like those are star shaped. Yeah, that's not an Allen key or hex key. Those are star keys. Couple batteries. They are 2032s. A lens cleaning cloth. And looks like we have a user manual in here. Actually looks fairly nice in color with pictures. So 1 to 6 by 24, low power, variable optic, rifle scope. There's some of the specifications. We'll go over all that stuff here in a bit. Again, some of the features. Foresighting and zeroing. Looks like we're at a 1/4 inch at 50 yards. That's what I usually shoot at my range. All right, and let's see what the scope itself looks like. So wrapped up nicely. Again, when I first pull these out, I always just like to see like if there's blemishes or how the anodization looks, if everything looks uniform, kind of how if like the markings are centered. I just kind of look for stuff like that because like quality scopes, everything is usually perfect on it. Yeah, I don't see any like real noticeable blemishes or anything right now. So we'll get into it closer here. So the scope and the mount are both aluminum. The hardware is some type of steel, as is that up there. Comes with the flip up style lens covers or lens caps. Pretty decent spring to them. It is a slightly thinner plastic. And they are like, this one has like the yellow tint to it, and this one is the clear. I personally would rather just see those be like a solid plastic. I know that they do them like this so you can still actually look through it while they're down, and then you flip them up if you need to. But to me, they just kind of remind me of like the kind of like cheap BB guns or air rifles that come with this style of lens caps. And they put these on like the really cheap scopes that come free with like pellet guns or whatever. So that's what they kind of remind me of. And if you pull this one off, this is like your ocular lens and your diopter. See how stiff yeah, that moves pretty good. So like if let's just say you're out at 100 yards and your image is a little bit fuzzy or blurry, you can make adjustments here on that. You got your magnification here, again 1 to 6. There's a little built-in lever on this one to move that. That is pretty stiff right now. Yeah, that's real stiff. So all the way up to 6 on that. Again, the other one had, it's getting looser as I'm moving it here. The other one had like a little screw that you put in there, or would screw it in. Moving on up, so we do have that cantilever scope. It's kind of hard to see, but it does have their logo down there on it, so that's actually a nice touch. It means that they kind of at least care about the product enough to kind of put their branding on it. We got elevation adjustments, windage adjustments. Let's see what those turret covers are like, see how stiff they are. Real smooth. That came no problem at all. Looks like you can use a coin. You don't have to though. And let's check out that one. Yeah, that one's smooth as well. And then over here is our battery door for that 2032. And then we have 5 levels of brightness in red and in green. And I'll show you guys that later on. And then the other lens cap down here on this end, and that is removable as well. Is that threaded? You can't tell if that's threaded or not. Let me look at that off camera. So that is not threaded, so you cannot put any type of sunshade, at least not a screw-in kind. The overall length of this is 9.6 inches. The tube or body diameter is 30 millimeters, which is 1.18 inches. And the lens up here is, I don't know, maybe just over 1.5 inches. And total weight with the mount and with the lens caps, 21 ounces. All right, let's get a battery put in it. We'll see what that red and green looks like on the reticle. The battery door, you can use a coin there, but there's some like grippy on the side, and it's pretty easy just to use your fingers to do it. So whenever we go outside, I'll try to show you the reticle a little bit better. I just kind of really want to see what that red and green looks like. So as you can see, the reticle really is only like 3 lines. The top line is not there, but really just want to see what the colors look like here. I'm not sure if the whole thing is illuminated or if that circle is illuminated. So we'll go to there's the green. That must be is that the brightest? No, that's only 1. So that's really bright. So we'll go through them. Wow, that's 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that is super bright. So it should be off. Now we got the red. The red is a little bit harder to see in here. There's 2. Now it's starting to get pretty bright. 3. So you obviously have the circle, then the lines continue with the etch reticle, and then there's actually a dot. See that dot there inside the circle? That's 4. Oh, that was 5. But yeah, look how bright that thing is. Let's go back to the green again. We go all the way up to the 5. Yeah, I was kind of assuming that it was just going to be the lines that were going to have the color on them. But yeah, it's actually the dot in the middle of it. So that looks pretty good inside. All right, let's go outside and see what this looks like. So this here is just on the 1x magnification. So it obviously doesn't look a whole lot closer than what it did without the scope. But you can see how clear that glass is. But let's bump it up a little bit. Let's go to like 3 or 4. I don't know how well this is going to turn out because the camera keeps auto adjusting and focusing different, but that's on the 3x right there. I will go up to 6 and then also put some color on with it. There's the 6 power. The camera does not like picking up the colors out here. I couldn't see the green at all through the iPhone camera. And even the red does not look that bright on camera. In real life, it's very, very bright. So before I mount that to the rifle, I did want to show you, this is the one that I reviewed like a month or so ago. And just overall, like in your hand, this one definitely feels like it's higher quality materials. The cantilever mounts are a little bit different. See that this one here is a little bit beefier. Just it feels a little bit heavier overall. This one definitely has the nicer lens covers or lens caps on it. But again, this one's like $20 or $30 more than what this one is. All right, let's get out to the range, get it sighted in, and we'll get some thoughts on it. All right, so I'm set up down there at 50 yards. It is super, super windy out here this morning. So after just one magazine, I'm pretty dialed in for me. My very first shot was down here. I made some adjustments, and I mean, the next was all in there. And again, it is like a really windy. It's probably like 25, 30-mile-an-hour winds, like constant out here today. So not too bad for me. I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm not sure if I showed it earlier in the video or not, but those adjustments for windage and elevation are a 1/2 inch at 100 yards. And real easy. You don't need any tools or anything. But there's an audible and a palpable click when you're moving those. So some other thoughts here on the CVLIFE. Glass is very, very clear. There wasn't any type of fogging. I didn't have like the fishbowl effect. Like whenever you change the magnification, didn't matter if I was on 1, 3, 6, whatever. The field of view is pretty much the same on all of them. I will say that the like the magnification ring is a little bit stiff, and it does have that little like built-in lever right there, but it's kind of hard to adjust. And ideally, you're like looking through your scope, and then if you need to change your magnification, you continue looking through while you do this. And I had to basically like pull my head away and almost like grab onto it, and it's still pretty stiff, and I've moved this thing a lot, so that's something to kind of be aware of. Now, one thing that's a real positive is it has really good eye relief. So like I could put my cheek, let's say here, and have a full field of view, or I could move my cheek here and still have a full field of view. So it definitely gives you like some room for error, so to speak. And then even at like the full magnification, I've had other scopes where like maybe my cheek is here on the 1 setting, but if I change it to the 6, I have to move my face along here. And this CVLIFE, I did not have to do that. I could be in the same spot for 1 or 6. It was still fairly early when I went to the range that morning. I think maybe 8:30 or 9 o'clock or so. And the sun hadn't come over the tree line yet, so that area was still in the shade. But I will say that the red and green, the circle dot, showed up really, really well. Even on the lower settings, it was plenty easy to see out there. And I like how not only the reticle, but the circle dot is always there as well. So even if your battery fails, you still have that circle dot to use for your aim. Overall, I think it's constructed really well, and I do like that cantilever mount a lot. At the time of me recording this video here, it is Thursday, August 24th. These are on Amazon for $130 with a clickable $30 coupon, bringing them down to under $100. And in my opinion, $100 is a pretty amazing deal, considering that you get a pretty good quality scope. You can have an illuminated reticle. It includes the cantilever mount. So yeah, very good deal. So I will leave an Amazon link down in the description below. But if you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them down below as well. And that's going to be it on this one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it.